Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fellowship of the Pages. We are on Chapter 4, and we're also going to be doing Chapter 5 of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Let's get into it.
Woo!
All right.
All right. So, yeah, basically where we left off, our merry band of hobbits met up with some elves. Those elves have since dipped. They're out of here. And basically, we just get left with our little squad waking up. They have some breakfast. It's a great little time. Nothing really too exciting happens, at least not off the start. They kind of just talk about, what's been going on, the writers, what the elves have said. Frodo, kind of wants to sleep in a little bit. Pippin and Sam,
The tired guy.
they gotta wait. They gotta wait. But yeah, it's a great little time. They just kind of talk about some stuff and they kind of get going.
I just want to put it out there again too. I think this was the same thing as the last chapter. This is all book exclusive stuff. None of this stuff is in the movies. None of this none of what's going on right now is in the movies whatsoever. And
That's all new content to us. It was all our first time reading about this stuff, so really cool.
And I mean, obviously for like the movie, they got to cut some stuff out, just so like it flows better. I feel
like we probably said that every episode.
Oh yeah,
We'll probably continue to say it every episode.
What I would like to point out about this one is, I actually enjoyed the chapters. Like I thought they were like little cool, little interesting things. But I can 100% see why I did not make the cut for the movies.
Yeah, it's very specific stuff, and like it's not really adding to the overall adventure. I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong. Like I really like it too. This stuff really is actually kind of. I'm enjoying it more than I guess I thought I would, because it is just really cool to see how they interact with each other all the way through, instead of it being like a movie where they cut from scene to scene. But I mean, when it comes to all like the little stuff, it's just kind of funny because I mean, you don't get like the introspective thing with Sam talking about how he's kind of like looking to the future. I feel like Sam's kind of just, the dude who's going along with them, at least at the start. And then he evolves a little bit more as the movies go on. But in this one, you kind of, he's, I don't know, a little bit more emotion with him.
And forgive me if I'm jumping ahead here, but was it chapter 4 or 5 where they have that conversation where Frodo was like, "Hey, dude," actually, I think it's 4, where he was like, "Hey, dude, now you saw the elves. What do you want to do?" He was like, "You want to keep going, or you want to go back?"
Yeah. And of course, Sam's like, "I'm going with you, dude, all the way through. That's how it's going."
He says, "If you don't come back, sir, I shan't. That's certain."
What a guy,
bars.
Dude, that's bars, dude. That is bars. He's a dog. Sam has that dog in him, bro. He got the ice in his veins.
Yep. Oh, one thing I find funny though is like the previous night, when Sam was supposedly, asleep at Frodo's feet, he was just faking it. And then as soon as Frodo went to sleep, Sam wakes back up and then has like a full-on conversation with the elves and learns all this information. I found that funny.
dude, just he wants to make Frodo feel comfortable, dude. He wants to make Frodo feel comfortable. God damn it! Sorry, oops. Oh, I just hit my funny bone.
Uh-oh.
I guess kind of the next part that they get to is they're talking about kind of where they should go, how they should take their path ahead. The part right here is they talk about the ferry east of Woodhall, and then Frodo kind of starts talking about how they should kind of cut through the brush and make it so it's quicker, because they don't want to be seen, and the main roads are going to be seen. And then Pippin hits him with the bar himself. Shortcuts make long delay.
Dude, that was okay. So I want to put this out there. I like these things that aren't in the movie because it adds so much like personality to the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They get so much. They get fleshed out a lot more.
Yeah, because again, like, the movies with Merry and Pippin, you just see him as some kind of like some silly little guys, dude. They're just silly little guys. They're dogs through and through.
Like tricksters.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
here we're kind of saying that they got
Yeah.
a little smarts to them, dude. They got like some intelligence that you don't see in the movies. Some wisdoms.
They're very much like main characters in the book. Like they have a lot of lines, a lot of dialogue, and I don't know. I get the sense that not saying they're not important in the movie because obviously they are, but I think they're just a little bit more important in the books, ever so slightly.
Especially Mary in the next chapter, which obviously I'm not going to get to fully, but made me like them so much more. We'll
I already love Mary.
I know, right? They already. Yeah. I mean, both of them already kind of do everything for him. Like Mary's kind of he took the cart all the way down for him. Pippen's like kind of waiting on him a little bit. Sam, a little bit. They're all just kind of helping him out. They're boys.
Yeah, they're like homies. Mary. Oh, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
No, I was saying they're just homies.
Yeah, like Mary literally moves all of Frodo's shit from Bag End to his new house and like sets everything up for him with Fatty Bulger. Fatty
Bulger.
Yeah. Fatty Bulger.
That's me today after those donuts, man.
Yeah,
I can't get used to saying that
name. Yeah, Fatty Bulger's a crazy name.
Yeah. Right. Well, and the sucky part for our merry band of hobbits is when they do the shortcut, because they cut through the boggy landscape of the Marish, they miss out on apparently the best beer in the East Farling from the Golden Perch. So they do miss out on that, which, I feel for them.
They are compensated quite well later on.
Mm-hmm. But even that boy Sam, bro, he was like he wanted that beer, dude. He wanted that sweet beer. Because Sam isn't,
bro. Ho ho ho, to the bottle I go.
Outside of like food and potatoes, Sam, you don't really express what he like a whole lot. But he's like, damn, I really wanted some of that beer.
Yeah.
Feel my heart and drown my woe. Rain may fall and wind may blow. All right, sorry.
Well, that is. Well, you're singing the song.
I'm singing the song. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Well, no. One thing that I noticed is like the Hobbits. They be singing a lot. Like we don't really hear them sing in the movies like at all, right? I mean,
they do a couple of times. I know they do at the kind of towards the beginning in like the Green Dragon or whatever, and then they do again at the Prancing Pony, I believe, right?
And then who was it that was singing in was it Gondor? The very end of the movie?
Oh yeah, I believe so. Maybe they definitely do it more like consistently though in the book.
Yeah,
it's happened already like 3 times.
But I feel like that's like a pretty common thing with like at least even like that we do see in the movies because I mean obviously the Hobbit movie, you got the dwarves singing. You hear the elves singing quite a bit. So I feel like music has and again, I feel like this goes back to the Silmarillion, where it's, something with like the god of the world and made the world of music, all this stuff.
Right. I have no idea about any of that.
it's some deep stuff. We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. Oh, we will.
But I mean, as a result of their singing, they do actually kind of cause a problem. I'll just read it. A long drawn wail came down the wind like the cry of some evil and lonely creature. So the Nazgul probably heard him busting out some rhymes and was like, "Hey, yo,
those are my ops over there."
Yeah, that's who I'm looking for. Those silly little hobbits. So then they had to, get going there for sure. But yet another interaction with the Black Riders. They are on their tail, which is kind of just, adding that suspense, making you kind of reminding you that they're still there, even though they're having a good little time. They can never have too much of a good time.
I kind of like how the Nazgul were like tracking them down in this. It feels like they're actually being like hunted.
Yeah, I did want to touch on that when I was reading it. 100%, dude. It's more of like they're kind of on their heels versus like chasing them down through towns and stuff. Like like not on their heels, I guess, like a little bit further back. In the movies, they're kind of on their heels the whole time, but in the book, it's like they're like a couple of steps back, but they're there. They know they're there, but they just don't know
Mhm.
exactly where they are.
Yeah, like it just
Yeah.
like it feels like they're literally just like a stone's throw away at all times.
Yeah, yeah, they're kind of just moving with them, but like not with them.
Mhm.
It adds a different kind of effect to it, a different little spookiness.
I'm liking it. I like it. Like I'm liking that a lot more than what we saw in the movie. Actually,
Yeah, but then they get moving a little bit over to Mr. Maggot.
Yes, they make it to Farmer Maggot's land,
It's so much
and
different from the
yeah,
movie.
well, coming
actually,
from somebody only ever seen the movies, like I was definitely surprised to find out that he's a good friend of Pippin and all Brandy Bucks. Like he's actually a really nice guy, you know. From the movies, you just literally just see his like, his spear, or you know what I'm saying. Like you don't
his
even see him.
pitchfork,
His pitchfork.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you,
and
thank you.
then
I was trying to. Yeah.
I'll go.
Oh no, that was all I was. You know.
Oh, I'll say, and this is like after the Nazgul they chased him down the river or something like that, right?
Are you talking about the fairy?
Uh, I believe because they had that conversation where they were like, "Hey, oh, am I jumping ahead here?"
I think you are, because they've definitely not gotten to the ferry yet.
No, I feel like they got chased down like the river and all that because there was a whole part where I think it was Pippin was like, "Hey, yeah, if we go over here and turn right, we're gonna get to where we need to be."
No.
Let me. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna take a look.
Okay.
'Cause I feel like I'm fucking something up here.
Basically, yeah, no, they kept going along because they heard the screeching. They got to Farmer Maggot's land, and then Pippin's the one that, recognized it because he's friendly with him. I believe I just saw it right here. He says, like, I recognize these gates. And then Frodo kind of gets freaked out a little bit because he's got a little bit of a history with Farmer Maggot. And so
Stealing his
Frodo says, one
mushroom.
trouble after another, looking nearly as much alarmed as if Pippin had declared the lane was a slot leading to a dragon's den. Um, Apparently, Frodo would steal some mushrooms when he was a youngster living at Brandy
Yep.
Hall. And on occasion, he beat Frodo, and
Yeah, he would
one
catch him and
time
beat
showed
him.
me his dogs. Yeah. He said, see,
Yeah.
lads, next time this young varmint sets foot on my land, you can eat him. So, yeah, Frodo was pretty scared of Mr. Maggot, but Pippin
Yeah.
laughed at that and said, it's time you made up. And then he's a friend of Mary's. That's what it is. And so by extension, Pippin said I used to come here with him a good deal.
Yeah. So it's
So he knew
interesting
him.
because in the movie they're stealing from Farmer Maggot, and obviously Farmer Maggot is like not happy about that, but
Right.
that doesn't really make sense in the context of the book because Merry and Pippin would actually never steal from Farmer Maggot because they're on good terms with him. So I
Right.
found that a really
And isn't
interesting
it?
thing.
I might be like kind of misremembering the height of him in the movie, but I feel like he's a human in the movie,
I
right?
don't think we ever get to see him. We just see
I
his pitchfork.
He seems like he's super tall, but maybe I just don't remember that correctly. But like, yeah, he doesn't
Yeah,
have any positive relation with the Hobbits in the
yeah,
movie, and it's just a lot different here, which is, I mean, kind of interesting with how they're introduced to him because he literally kind of says hi to him by sicking his dogs, Grip, Fang, and Wolf,
yeah,
onto him. But then, as he recognized Pippin, he was like, "Oh,
yeah.
hello, hello."
Yeah, I love
Which
it.
is just funny because he completely switches up his demeanor.
Yeah.
It actually says right here he changed from a scowl to a grin after he saw Pippin. A long time since I saw you around here. It's lucky lucky for you that I know you.
Yeah, he's like,
But
there's
it's
some
just
funny things going on today.
Yeah. So then, I feel like that's probably the next important thing to jump to is that, as they go in and talk to him a little bit, he kind of tells them actually what happens, or what happened a little bit earlier was that a Black Rider pulled up and was like,
They already made it.
Baggins, doing the whole freaky thing, trying to figure out
Yeah.
where he is, offering him gold even. And Mr. Maggot, this is what I think people really like about him from the book. He's just like, hey, dog, get out of here.
Yeah.
Scram, kick rocks. I'm not telling you nothing.
Yeah.
Which is
He's
like
probably
super cool.
he's about to sick his dogs on the freaking Nazgul.
Yeah, which I mean, hey man,
That's a G move actually.
it's a
Yeah.
G move, but I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Definitely
those
love
dogs
Farmer
probably would have
Maggot.
gotten Nazguled up. But
Oh,
yeah,
oh
dude,
no, man.
Oh
super
yeah.
cool. Oh, and then right here, that's what I wanted to get to. Uh, they go into Farmer Maggot's house and they meet, his kids, his wife, and then they eat dinner with him. And it says right here, they went into the farmer's kitchen and sat by the wild fireplace. Mrs. Maggot brought out beer in a huge jug and filled 4 large mugs. It was a good brew, and Pippin found himself more than compensated for missing the golden perch.
There it is.
So they did get their drink after all.
Yeah. True.
So I'm just looking at our notes. Maggot is a legend and tells the Black Rider to be.
Yeah.
Dude, Maggot's a legend.
Yeah. And then while they're at the house, Mrs. Maggot gives Frodo. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but it kind of Mrs. Maggot gives Frodo a basket of mushrooms. I just kind of found that funny because obviously when Frodo was younger, he would get beat over stealing mushrooms from Farmer Maggot. So maybe it's like some kind of apology, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it was like an apology. I feel like it was just one of those like, hey, like just like kind of giving it to him. It's like, hey, here you go, and kind of like a little pardon my French here, but a little shit-eating grin as she handed him over.
Right. Like acknowledging their history together.
Frodo was just looking at them like,
Yeah. Well, and then I guess the next biggest change is in the movie, they obviously just run to the ferry, but in the book, Farmer Maggot drives them on his wagon to the ferry. And by this point, it's still just the 3 of them. It's Pippin, Sam, and Frodo. So it's definitely pretty different.
And then he kind of, as they're going up on the road, they see a figure kind of coming
Yeah.
towards them, and they start to think that they're about to get jumped by a ghoul. And then Mary just pops up and just like, hello. And then that's actually, I think, when Mr. Farmer Maggot gives him the basket, right? And he's like,
Yeah, that's when he gets
goodbye.
the
You'll
mushrooms.
always
Yeah.
be welcome, so on and so forth.
Yeah. I
And then
love that.
he leaves, and then it's kind of interesting because Mary makes a note to be like, he was looked kind of spooked. I think that
Yeah.
was in the next chapter, but
Yeah.
just hasn't seen Mr. Maggot like that.
Scared before.
Yeah.
Also, I knew I was not tripping. There was a point in time where they did see the Nazgul like right behind them, and then it was literally, I think it's on page 89, where they were like, we were both right. The Shorka has gone crooked already, but we got undercover only just in time. You got sharp ears, Sam. Can you hear them? Can you hear anything coming? And then they were going down the bank, I guess, and that's what I was talking about
Oh, and
earlier.
there's a stream running down the hills behind
And that's where I like how it makes Pippin seem very well traveled too, because it was just like a whole like, he just kind of looked around and he goes, "Hey, I know
Oh, I'm
exactly where we're
sorry.
at."
Yeah. Okay, so you were talking
right.
about just their previous interaction with the Nazgul. I didn't
Right
know
for
that was near
gaslighting.
water though. I thought they kind of were like up near like a bush.
No,
There's like a stream.
yeah, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, what do Merry and Pippin be doing? That we know the Shire is massive, and then for them to just be like kind of take a quick look around. He goes, "Hey, I know where we're at. You go over there and turn right. This is where we're going to be."
Well, they've
Wasn't this
mentioned it a
more of
few
their land?
times. Yeah, like all of them have basically traveled all of this area. Really, it's just it's not
Except for
really
Sam.
like
Except for Sam.
yeah.
Except for Sam.
Sam. It even says that Sam's gone all the way up to the river. Sam just hasn't crossed the river before. This is his first time crossing.
Oh.
Oh yeah, because isn't it in the movie, right? It's like this is around the time where he's like, if I take one step further, this is the furthest.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
That was
that was a
This is
little bit
around that
before
time.
Mr.
Yeah,
Maggot,
yeah,
right? Or Farmer
yeah.
Maggot. I keep calling him Mr. Maggot. This just sounds
Mr.
right to me.
Maggot.
hey, you can call him that.
Sounds more official. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
nice gentlemanly fella, you
he
know,
is. Yeah, he
hooking
is.
up the lads before they get jumped.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of neat though. That was pretty much the entire the whole
It's
thing
already
with
chapter
chapter
4. Like,
4.
I mean,
nothing crazy.
it is just a shortcut to mushrooms, so it's
Yeah, I
not the
mean, they
longest
quite
chapter.
literally wake up, talk about what they should do, kind of lament a little bit about missing out on the Golden Purge.
Yep.
Start singing. They get yelled at by a Nazgul. They start running. They find Farmer Maggot. Farmer Maggot's like, "Oh snap, what's up, lads?" He hooks them
Yep.
with some dinner and then takes them to Mary. And then Mary's like, "Cool, let's go to the ferry."
Yep.
That's the whole thing. Now this
Yeah.
chapter though, this one's it's still short, but it's a little bit juicier, I would
Yep.
say.
Yep. Chapter 5: A Conspiracy Unmasked.
You're such a good vocalist, dude.
It's a
Oh,
good
dude.
narrator. It's a
Gotta
good
get you
narrator.
to gotta get you to read the book.
Do
Send it to us.
It's a whole read through.
Yeah.
That would be
So
a
I mean,
long podcast.
basically what happens now is they get to the ferry, they start going down the river. They kind of give us a little bit of a breakdown about how Brandy Hall was started, which is I thought was
We
kind
get
of
a
cool. I
little
put
lore
that in my
dump.
notes. Yeah, a little bit of a lore dump as they kind of see it, coming through the fog or whatever. Essentially, hopefully I get this right. Gorhindad, Old Buck,
Sounds good to me.
was the head of the
Yeah.
Old Buck family. Apparently, just one of the oldest families in the Shire. Homie was like, "Catch y'all later." Jumps over the river. Then he builds Brandy Hall, which super cool. I'm just gonna give some details on it. Basically, it says right here, his family grew and grew, and after his days continued to grow until Brandy Hall occupied the whole of the low hill and had 3 large front doors, many side doors, and this is the part that gets me, about 100 windows.
Damn.
Huge place.
Jeez.
But yeah, then it says the Brandy Bucks and their numerous dependents then began to burrow and later to build all around, which is basically just the creation of Buckland. The next little cool bit was that they created a about 20-ish mile long
Hey, dude.
wall, essentially called a hedge, or called the high hay,
Yeah.
which protects their east sides because they got the Brandy River to the west, and then they got to the east a little bit of stuff going on before you get to the old forest. So they got a little bit of a hedge there, but they're kind of tucked in. I'm looking at a map right here. They're kind of tucked in between the river and the forest. So really,
Yeah.
unless you want to go down there, you have literally no reason to go down there. It's kind of a neat little spot.
Right.
And on a more silly note, I'm looking at the notes again. Bucklanders are just hobbits that have yachts.
That hit the yachts. They'd be hitting that's another thing. Yeah. So basically the Buckland hobbits are just they're literally just hobbits that like boats, and they can swim. A few of them can swim anyways. You can say all of them.
They just be yachting.
Yeah, they just be yachting. But I thought that was kind of funny because all the hobbits are always so suspicious of each other, and they're like, "Ooh, those Buckland weirdos," but they're just the same people.
They're like boats. Like boats.
Definitely get the vibe that Buckland is a little bit more dangerous. There might be more shady characters because it says that the Bucklanders keep their doors locked after dark, which in the Shire they didn't really lock their doors at all. So definitely a little bit shadier of an area for sure.
Makes sense. It does. It is on the edge of
Yeah.
the old forest. It even says a lot of the high hay kind of goes up against the forest at some parts. But sorry, Aaron. You were going to say
I
something.
was say, I don't have the map up or anything. Is Buckland near like any human territories? Is that why they would? Because they're a little bit more suspicious of like humans.
I'll tell you this. From this map that I'm looking at, Buckland is closer to Bree than it is to like Bywater or
Okay,
Hobbiton.
okay, so I feel like that. I feel like that would make sense because they probably
If
get
this
a
map is
lot
accurate.
more. They probably get a lot more big people interactions. So
I would believe it.
they're not in La La Land, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the next interesting bit. Sorry, I know I'm kind of like just taking charge of this chapter. I was
Nah,
all
dude,
about
go.
it. If
You
you
do it. Dude.
guys,
You do it.
if you feel like confident, just tell me to shut up. But the next part that I thought was actually really cool because it's another interesting change. Is kind of like how the Nazgul move in this.
Yeah.
The part that did I just lose my page? Oh, right there. Yeah. So basically, Sam says, "Look back, Mr. Frodo. Do you see anything?" And then they said, right here, it looked like a dark black bundle left behind. But as they looked, it seemed to move and sway this way and that, as if searching the ground. It then crawled or went crouching back into the gloom beyond the lamps. Like, gross, dude. Ew.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
with your notes, you're saying they're more animalistic,
Yeah.
which
Seems like.
I'm like all about it because I don't remember what chapter it was, but it was literally the very beginning of them leaving leaving Hobbiton,
I think it was
where
three.
where the Nazgul was like on all fours basically.
Yeah, dude.
That's
Weird.
creepy.
Dude, I
Super weird.
like basically like what I'm getting, like the visual. Like obviously we got the Nazgul in the movies, whatever. But kind of what I'm getting from this, at least like the kind of vibe I'm getting from the Nazgul is kind of like Dementor, but also like skeleton-y. You know what I mean?
I'm getting a little Eldritch thrown in there too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Like
trying to
a
think.
little nasty, gross little creature, like ugh. Like something you
Yeah.
want to be just like getting the whole gang to stab, just be like, hey, get out of here.
Get
Right.
out of here. Maybe
Get
that's some
out of
holy
here.
magic your way.
Yeah, for real. Hit it with a divine light or whatever.
Divine smite.
Yeah, that's the one from D&D. But then another little instance of the lads kind of knowing their way around. Frodo's basically like, shout out that you guys don't have any more boats over there.
Right.
And then Mary was like, the only way that they can kind of come now is to go 10 miles north, which I thought was kind of another change, you know, because obviously in the movie, when they are on the ferry, they're like, oh, whatever they say. And then, you know, that's when Mary tells them, oh, they got to go like however far to the north. I don't think it's 10 miles. I want to say it's longer, but regardless, they say they
Yeah.
have to go to the north, and it's like a whole different kind of vibe because it's in the movie, it's like, oh man, they're going to get us. But in here, it's like
Yeah.
they're watching us.
Yeah, they're almost more like kind of creeping on them from the shadows. Where in the movie, they have to jump on the ferry and haul ass. Where in this one, they're able to get on the ferry like calmly and just float
Yeah, with horses.
safely. Yeah.
And again, I feel like it's adding so much more to the Nazgul because again, it feels like they're hunting, they're stalking them. Like
Yeah.
like how hunters stalk their prey. It doesn't feel like they're just like hey, we're just waiting. We'll get you guys, but we're
Yeah.
we're not in a big hurry.
Yeah, it's just a different vibe. It's less like high intensity, more like slow and creepy, and yeah, different vibe for sure. But
And then they kind of just start going to Frodo's new home. And one little bit that I thought was funny was, Fatty Bulger, that's what he says. They're talking about how they're like, he's still at the house or whatever. We'll get supper and things there. And then Frodo says, we've had our supper early with Farmer Maggot, but we could have another.
I don't
I was
blame
like,
them.
in my notes, I was like, what comes after supper? Because they list them all in the movie, and I can't remember if supper was the last one or if there's like dessert or whatever.
Secondsies or whatever.
Yeah,
Secondsies.
I don't know.
But yeah, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that is
And
funny.
then they start going towards the house, and I like kind of the way that they described Buckland. It kind of just sounds like it's like I don't know, kind of just sounds like it's a little Hobbiton away from
Ah,
Hobbiton, but like super nice.
supper is the last thing they get.
Also, they're just feeling extra yummy, extra
Wow,
fat
they're
with
just
those
second
mushrooms.
supper.
It's breakfast, second breakfast, 11's, luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, and supper.
Wow.
Wow, they're double dipping.
So I feel like he probably meant that they had dinner and then they're ready for supper. That's what he probably meant.
There you go.
But yeah, eventually they get to the house, and boy, oh boy, does Frodo have a nice dig, bro. He's got a sweet
Oh, yeah.
pad. This thing
Thanks.
is decked out. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not gonna read through the whole thing, but it's like just the way that they described it. He's got like trees surrounding it. It's like a one story thing, but it's more of like a country house. You know, it's farther away from stuff. But bro hooked
Long
it
and
up
low.
nice. He's gonna be hitting the golf courses in no time if he was. I mean,
Golf
if he was
courses.
staying. If he was staying, he's obviously got to get up out of there. But you know that he even says at one point that he wouldn't mind like actually moving out here because it's nice.
Yeah, he says he wishes that he actually was out here to retire.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
and
and then that segues. It's been in the back of Frodo's mind pretty much the whole time, but now he's thinking about it again. Of dropping the news of him having to leave again,
oh yeah,
and he's kind of just dreading telling everybody. So
because
yeah,
at this point it's pretty much only set that that Sam is going with him,
Yeah.
and
right.
even then he like feels bad about it. So he's like, I don't
Yeah,
absolutely not want to bring like everyone else. It's putting more on
right.
them than I could ever ask, essentially.
Well, because
And speaking of how cool the homies are, though, Mary and Fatty, you know, when they're going over and setting the stuff up for Frodo, they actually set it up in a way that was reminiscent of
Bag
Bag
End.
End, which I thought
true
was so
friends.
cool. Like, dude, yeah,
Yeah,
like that's a
so
real
nice.
homie move. If you're like, hey, dude, you remember your house? Yeah, so do we.
Yeah, they're such good friends. Yeah, I love it.
Dude, dude, I honestly didn't know because they were pretty good friends of Frodo, so they were definitely there pretty often.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, heck, dude, we get into a little bit on their friendship here in a second, which I thought
Oh
is
yeah.
one of my favorite parts of the book so far, actually.
Mhm.
But just one more bit about the house. This
Yeah.
dude's got 4 bathtubs. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Four
I think he has
bathtubs?
3.
No, four because he's talking. They're talking about the one, and then they go in there, and it says in that room there are 3 tubs. So they got another
Okay.
one.
Oh,
Dang.
they got full 4 tubs, 4 hobbits, bro.
Yeah. So they're basically like trying to figure out who's gonna go first, and then they're just like, screw it, let's just
Oh wait,
all
no.
just go in there.
Yeah, sorry, I did misread it.
Group
It is 3 tubs.
bathtub.
There are 3 tubs, he says, instead of the one. I thought they were talking about the one, and then they went to like another room, and there were three.
Oh.
But I think I misread that.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
I
they
feel like why have
so
3
three
tubs when you can
tubs.
just add one more and have 4?
Oh, he's got 3 though. Like, I mean, he's
Yeah,
hooking it up.
It's for the
dude.
group tub sesh, bro.
Group
Of
tub,
all
yeah,
the
and then they all
scenes,
start taking a bath together, and then
and they're
Pippin,
singing.
yeah, they're singing another song, and then Pippin just starts splashing.
Yeah, he's
It
just
says,
splashing water everywhere.
it says there is a terrific splash and a shout of "Whoa!" from Frodo. It appeared that a
Whoa!
lot of Pippin's bath had imitated a fountain and leaped on high. And then Mary
Oh,
basically comes in here and is like, "Dude, clean that up."
it's like you're not getting dinner until you mop that up.
It's like, we're not waiting for you, dude. Let's go.
Yeah,
Which
It's
one's the
just
older one
funny.
again?
Pippin's
Mary,
the
Pippin's
youngest.
younger.
Pippin's the youngest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that makes sense.
This
Of
is so
all the
funny.
scenes that I wish were in the movie, this would be the funniest scene. I
Oh,
like.
you want the bath
I just.
scene, huh? The Hobbit bath scene.
He was the Hobbit bat scene.
I feel like
Oh,
this scene would have absolutely tanked like the tension of the movie. You just go from the ferry scene to them taking baths. But like, man, I wish that was at least filmed for like the special edition or something.
the
You
behind the
know?
scenes
Jackson,
stuff.
please.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That is
That would
pretty
have been
funny though.
amazing. Yeah, but
Well, then they kind of yeah, then they go out and they have some dinner. Nice little thing I liked that I thought was funny was hobbits have a passion for mushrooms, surpassing even the greediest likings of big people.
But do you think hobbits are always hungry because they're smoking that hobbit weed all the time?
Probably, dude. And I think their bodies, like since they run on straight courage and willpower, I think
I
they're
mean,
also kind of just hungry, from that.
yeah,
Right.
I get it, dude. I get it.
And then, so basically, after they eat, just to kind of keep it going here, they
Yeah.
kind of start talking, and then Frodo says at one point, about being scared. He would have been scared if they got chased by black riders, and then Mary asks, "What are they?" And then Frodo refuses to answer, and then Pippin,
Yeah.
Pippin basically tells the entire story of them running, from Bag End to where they are now.
Yep. Full
Mary kind
account.
of is like, dude, I would think you were making it up if I didn't see how scared Farmer Maggot was and
Yeah.
whatever, So basically, they get caught in, they get filled up on the whole situation, um, which is kind of nice because now everyone's on the same page. But
Right.
then it's kind of interesting because Frodo is like he's like kind of upset he's spaghetti a little bit. They're
Yeah.
talking about like why they could be getting chased, and I think Pippin mentions something about how Mister or Farmer Maggot thinks that has something to do with old Bilbo's treasure, and then Frodo's like, "That was only a guess. Maggot doesn't know anything." But then, like literally a paragraph later, he's like, "I think that it was a good guess."
Yeah.
There is a
You don't want
connection.
that. You don't want that slander in Bilbo's name, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
he's just, I think he's a little spooked, but whatever. I think it's just funny, and then they keep going. And then Frodo's basically just hitting him with all the sauce.
But
Um,
we get like a little hint because Frodo's about to finally tell them his secret, and Pippin whispers to Merry. He says, "It's
oh
coming
yeah.
out in a minute," and then they both nod to each other like they know what he's about to say. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean that's just basically it. They keep talking, and then yeah, Frodo. What's the part that I was gonna read? Oh no, that's what it was. So this is one of my favorite parts right here. So essentially, Merry and Pippin are talking to Frodo, and they lay it out for him. They're like, "Dude, we know,
Yeah.
we know, kind of like not everything, but we know more than you know. We know." They kind of have been suspicious of him for like the last year or so. Apparently, Mary's been kind of keeping tabs on him since Bilbo left because Mary kind of thought that he would just disappear, kind of like Bilbo did. And
Right.
their whole thing. I'm just gonna kind of sum up the next page and a half. They're just like, dude, we got your back. We did some sneaky stuff to make sure we knew what was going on so that we could have your back even better, right? Like, we're not trying to do nothing weird. Frodo feels a little betrayed because he's like, dude, like, you guys have
What the
basically been
hell?
lying, like, yeah, how'd you guys like know about all this stuff, not say anything, and and basically act like you didn't know all this stuff, kind of lied to him the whole time. But the way that Mary explains it, I think is perfect. He's just like, dude, we did everything we did to have your back even more and like help you through this. You're not going anywhere without us, at least not without a fight. And I thought that was super cool because you don't really get that at all in the movies.
Right.
I mean, I think we get some kind of semblance of that, just like throughout the movies.
Yeah,
Because,
you
bro,
get that they got his back, but you don't get Mary sitting there and like literally
no, that's
Yeah.
explaining
true.
to
That's
him
true.
that we did this. I was literally watching over you for like a year or however long it's been since Bilbo. You
It's
don't get that kind of connection.
so Mary's actually known about it a year before Bilbo's 111st birthday because he says that
That's
he
right. That's
actually,
right.
yeah, because he was peeping on Bilbo walking down the road, and then the Sackville Baggins were like, coming towards Bilbo, and he puts the ring on and disappears. The Sackville Baggins have no idea, but Mary saw the whole thing, so he's known for years now. And then basically he said ever since then, he's kept his eyes open and basically just spied.
Which I thought was actually kind of funny because Mary also
Yeah,
kind of told Frodo like he wasn't very sly, or he wasn't as sly and secretive as he thought he was.
yeah,
But then Bilbo, he's like, and then he said he wasn't as sly and secretive as Bilbo, and then Bilbo's out here doing that and disappearing in front of like the whole thing, which I get's probably
yeah,
like his later years. He's a little bit more eccentric or whatever, but I
yeah.
don't think Bilbo was very secretive at all.
Pippin literally says, "You have not been nearly careful or clever enough." So yeah, they
And
definitely
then
were. They were on to
Frodo's
Frodo.
like, Frodo says somewhere along the line, he's like, I thought I was clever and secretive. Like,
Yeah,
damn, dude.
he literally says that. Yeah, yeah.
But
But
he's just so happy with him. And then the big reveal. Do you want to
yeah.
hit the big reveal?
Oh man. All right. Yeah. So the big reveal is they already know about the ring, and Frodo is just completely amazed. Like he's just like, "How do you know about that?"
And the book. And the
And
book.
what?
Mary knew about the red book.
Oh yeah, the Red Book of
Oh,
Westmarch. Yeah. So apparently, was it Mary also tried to like sneak to read, Bilbo's book that he's writing, because Bilbo like doesn't let anybody read it. He's very protective over it. So Mary says he's like stolen a few glances and put a lot of pieces together, combined with the fact that he saw Bilbo disappear, and then he saw once. Bilbo reappeared, he saw a shimmering gold, a glint of gold as he put something back in his trouser pocket. So, I mean, Mary was like on the case. Like he knew more than most people did. So, yeah,
And then
all right,
they
I'm just looking for the
basically
book.
they get to the point where they're kind of like, well, how, like, how do you know about all this? And then
oh yes,
Sam, Mary says, step forward, Sam. And Sam stood up with a face scarlet up to his ears.
oh
Mr. Blushy Guy himself apparently
tomato.
was the main source of information. He was the main spy.
Ooh,
And, I just want to say
That
what Sam
was the
said because he's so
great
intriguing.
spy.
Yeah, but Sam was the great spy in his intel. Which actually, before I read this part, when he did get caught by Gandalf, that's what he was doing. He even admitted to it.
yeah, yeah,
He was spying. But basically, Sam, after the reveal that he was the main one, getting them all the information that they needed to be able to create this conspiracy, Sam says, begging your pardon, sir, but I meant no wrong to you, Mr. Frodo, nor to Mr. Gandalf for that matter. He had some sense, mind you, and when you said go alone, he said no, take someone as you can trust. So he's just like, listen, dog, even Gandalf said you can trust me. I promise I'm not trying to like be sneaky. I was just trying to help.
right.
And then
Yeah, you really get the sense of how much they care for Frodo. Like they are good friends. I mean,
yeah,
you
I
know.
want to read this part too. Basically,
Yeah.
Mary says, you can trust us to stick, because Frodo's kind of what he says, but it does not seem that I can trust anyone. And that part earlier where I was saying, like, Frodo or Mary's just like, we got your back. This is what
Yeah.
he actually says. He says, you can trust us to stick to you through thick and thin to the bitter end, and you can trust us to keep any secret of yours closer than you keep it yourself. But you cannot trust us to let you face trouble alone and go off without a word. We are your friends.
Dude,
Anyway, there it is. We know most of what Gandalf has told you. We know a good deal about the ring. We are horribly afraid, but we are coming with you or following you like hounds. And I'm just
That's
like, dog,
powerful.
what a
that
dude.
dude. Those are dogs, dude. Those are
Yeah.
dogs.
And even
Yeah.
then, Sam is like, dude, Gildor, the Chad elf, told you that you should accept any help you can get.
Right.
And then Mary's like,
Shadow.
or Frodo's like, all right. And then Mary's like, good, that's settled. 3 cheers for Captain Frodo,
Captain Frodo.
which I thought was super cool.
They shouted and danced around him.
Yeah, and then they sing another song,
Yeah. Well, it's a song in the model of a dwarf song that Bilbo started on his adventure. So
which is
we're
really
kicking
cool.
it old school.
Yeah, throwing it back to the OG.
Yeah.
And then they kind
And
of
then
just talk some
basically,
more, right?
what was that?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say they just talk some more, right?
Well,
about like their next move.
basically, they're discussing what they should do for the night, if they should leave right away or if they think it's
Yeah.
safe enough to actually stay the night. Because they basically say that the Black Rider could already have reached them by this point. Like, he's had more than enough time. The time they were taking a bath and eating dinner and, talking, the Black Rider could already be there. So they're just like, should we stay? Should we stay the night or just leave?
Yeah. Which I
But they
did think
do
it
end
was
up.
interesting that they mentioned
Yeah.
that there are guards posted at the North Gate, which is kind of the first
Yeah.
mention that we hear of, like, posted guards anywhere.
Right. Yeah. So that would probably slow them down. But I mean, they even
They even
say that
said, yeah,
a
they're like, no.
determined attack would definitely get through. So
Yeah, I think they even
yeah.
mentioned how the Black Rider themselves could just break through. Like it wouldn't
Yeah.
be that big of a deal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's true.
And then so then they kind of just talk about how the old forest is
Yeah.
their next best
Dangerous.
bet. And
Mhm.
Fatty is like, oh, that's crazy. The legends, people who go in there don't come out, and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. And they're basically just like, it's our only option. They're going to have people posted on that road, on this road. There's
Yeah.
nowhere for us to go really other than to cut through the forest. And so that's their plan. To give
Okay.
old Fatty some credit, though, because he does stay back at the house.
Yeah.
And he essentially is just going to stay there to ward off anyone on their tail, or if
Yeah.
Gandalf does end up showing up, he's going to relay the route that they chose to take. And so he
Right.
is kind of doing something. He's not just completely chickening out.
Yeah,
Um,
when I first read that, I was like, "Oh, come on, fatty! Like, we're not buying it, dude. You're just scared. You don't want to go." But then I thought about it. I'm like, I don't know what happens in the next chapter. He might just get like absolutely slayed by the freaking Black Rider. Like, that's probably
yeah,
really
especially
dangerous.
because, dude, they even say that he like is meant to like kind of like disguise himself as him, and they
Yeah,
didn't even think about like the consequences. It mentions that. I
yeah,
can't find it. I was looking for
yeah,
it, but it mentions like, oh, it is what it is.
yeah. So I mean, he's taking one for the team. He is.
Yeah, and I think one of them even mentions how they would like they're kind of scared, like they would rather be going into the old forest than dealing with what
Right.
he's dealing with. And then Fatty is like, "No way, dude! Once you go in there, you're gonna come straight back and wish you were here."
Right. Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny. But I mean, that's pretty much getting to the end of the chapter. They
Yeah.
kind of just are like, "Yeah, we're gonna pack, we're gonna get ready, and they're
Yep.
gonna leave first thing in the morning."
Yeah,
Um,
and then Frodo goes to sleep, and then he has
mm,
a vague dream um, of like creatures crawling, snuffling. Uh, he hears the sound of the sea far off, and it's interesting because it says that he's never heard that sound in his waking life. So he's obviously never been to the ocean, but in his
yeah, but he keeps
dream,
dreaming
yeah,
about it.
about
That's
the
so
ocean.
interesting because I don't know if you knew this, but the ocean is essentially, without getting super lore heavy, it's
Yeah,
essentially the last remaining like song of God in Lord of the Rings.
I didn't
And
know
because
that.
the way that the God of Lord of the Rings, Aru Levitar or something like that. I need to brush up on that. Excuse my pronunciation there. But they like created the world through song, and like
Oh wow.
the that's another reason why the elves
Yeah.
are drawn to the sea, is because the elves are kind of a little
Oh,
bit more connected with them and stuff like that. So it's an interesting connection that they're doing with
yeah.
Frodo now, where like
Wow.
I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, how is he so? Is it because he's a ring bearer?
Yeah.
Like, is he being drawn to the Undying Lands like the elves are? Like, what is that?
Yeah. That is interesting because by this point it's not like he's been stabbed yet, and you know what I mean. He's not
Yeah,
sick from the Nazgul sword, so it's like even before then, it seems like he would have eventually ended up there. That's
right.
interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I
And then
guess.
he just gets woken up by a flash of lightning, which I don't know if that's symbolic for something. Like, I kind of like, if I was being one of those people that look into something a little bit too much,
Yeah.
I kind of read that as like so he looks at the white tower, he feels like he wants to climb it and look to the sea even more, and then he gets woken up by lightning. So it's like he is wanting to get somewhere, but there's going to be like
Hardship.
things that are
A
hardship that are going
powerful
to stop him,
force.
slow him down. Yeah. And so I don't know if this is kind of like a little foreshadow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely foreshadow. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the end of the chapter. That's 4 and 5.
Frodo's snoozing. Presumably all the other hobbits are snoozing. Maybe Fatty's keeping guard, but yeah, that's it for chapter 5.
Our squad is getting ready to roll out through the Old Forest. The next chapter is called the Old Forest, so I'm excited to see what happens. See if there's anything different, interesting, new. I mean, there's of course going to be. I'm excited to see what it is, though.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. Yeah, we'll see where the adventure takes these hobbits. But in the meantime, we hope you'll join us for the next episode of the Fellowship of the Pages. If you made it to the end, I mean that's awesome. You know, we're not like professionals or anything, but we really appreciate you listening.
Not anywhere close. If you got to the second half, though, you got revitalized because once we hit chapter 5, I felt like we started smoothing it out.
Oh yeah, we got there.
But yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye, guys.